Welcome, everyone. My name is Laura Massey from Two Feathers Medicine. So welcome to our Tuesday Talking Stick show. I know we're usually here with Dale Tobin. He's not well, so he can't be with us tonight. But I'm really excited because as our guests tonight, we have Quinton and Leticia, who are two modern shaman, let's call them. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And I think, is that Andrew who's just come in, Joel?
Yeah, yes, I've come in. I've got time in between my sessions, and I figured I'd come in and say hello to everyone.
Oh, that's kind of you. Hi, great, thank you. Well, yeah, just introducing Quinto and Leticia, and if you'd like to tell us about yourselves, and then we'll go from there.
Hello, everybody. Here we are, sitting comfortably in our home, and amazing this new modern world in which we can communicate from wherever we are is a fantastic thing, fantastic tool. Let's make the most tonight.
Let's see what we can share.
Okay.
So a little bit about myself. I'm a lifelong astrologer and visionary. I've always had visions and I see things in pictures. And many years ago, I found myself living in America. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I didn't know anybody and I didn't know why I was there. And then suddenly the shamanic path opened up to me and it resonated immediately. And so I started learning everything I could. And I spent 13 years in training with every teacher I could find who would share the knowledge with me. And then returned to the UK and there was a little whisper in my ear, now you have to teach what you know. And I was, no way, I'm not doing that. And my ego was right in front of me saying, oh, well, you know, they're going to say, what is she wearing? Or, oh, well, yeah, I know all this already. She's got nothing to teach me. So for about 2 weeks, I was listening to my ego. And then I woke up one day and I thought, for goodness sake, get out of your own way. It's not about you. It's about being a vessel and letting the message come through. So from then on, I have been training shamanic practitioners and practicing shaman healing and guiding and using the many gifts all together, the ability to vision, the knowledge of astrology, which is phenomenal, and the knowledge of shamanic practice. One of the greatest teachings I ever received was to die. I was 21 years old and I was in a house fire and I couldn't escape. I was suffocating in the smoke and fell down the stairs and knew that I was going to die because there was no way out. I hadn't breathed for quite a while. I could hear the roar of the flames below me. But to my surprise, something happened that I didn't know about at the time. I started to travel down a tunnel to a bright light. And as I reached that light, I was suffused in total love. But it's not a love you can describe in human terms. It is unconditional. And the light emanated this love towards me. And everything that I'd ever done in my life or hadn't done was up for review. There was no time frame and everything was present. And I judged myself. Oh, I didn't do what I was going to do. Or I did that and I wish I hadn't done it. And I felt almost to this amount of love coming towards me. I've let you down in some way. But there was no judgment of me by the light. I was judging myself. All the light was doing was giving me unconditional love. The next thing that happened was I was in a garden. It was beautiful in every way, the lights, the colors, the crispness of the outlines. And then I was aware of beings of light, small versions of the light, who were standing by human souls waiting to come in, who were choosing their next incarnation. And it taught me, there is lots of detail I can go into, but it taught me that we choose our life and we choose our lessons. We even select and invite the souls who will play the roles for us on the stage of our lives. So now I'm with my beloved Quinto, and we work together as healers, and it is our life's work. And I just love more than anything to share the knowledge and help people who feel lost in some way to re-empower them.
I got a question. How did your body get out of the fire?
It's a good one. So I had fallen down the stairs, and two of the people in the building had been shut in a room. They'd kept the door shut, so the smoke was going up, but they were without smoke in there. They heard me tumble down the stairs. They pulled me up off the floor, took me into that room. I remember first I was gasping for air. I was trying to get there. I remember looking at these huge windows and thinking, the long curtains, I thought we're safe, but I could hear the glass below popping in the heat. And then the curtains on this side went up, started, and I ran to the other window and smashed it and got out.
So you were the first floor of the building at the time?
I was on the first floor. And in fact, the last part of my near-death experience, I was asked a question by the light. And the question was, what have you learned? And what welled up from within me was, oh no, I haven't finished what I set myself to learn. Do I have to go back? It's so nice here. But yeah, I still got things to learn. I'm still here.
So basically all that experience, the last now took like, I don't know, 5 minutes to enroll. It took like probably, 30 seconds, the time you rolled down by...
Yeah, the time it takes to fall down a flight of stairs, basically.
Basically.
There was time, it felt like forever.
But that's...
Andrew would have had a lot of near-death. That's a near-death experience, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the unconditional love. You went through what's called a temporary life review. You already knew you were going to go back, some part of you.
Yeah.
Hadn't fully accepted death, but you needed to see the unlimited perspective of love.
Absolutely. And I needed to see human souls choosing their incarnation and making soul agreements with other souls.
The key parts that made the shamanic life easier to understand for you.
So right. And afterwards, I started to become aware of like maybe a magazine article or a book about near-death experiences. And then I realized that's what I'd had. And I thought, well, why me? Why ordinary me gets to see what happens when you die, whereas most people don't till the day they die. And it started to dawn on me as clients would come for astrology who were either dying, had just lost somebody, or had a great fear of death. So I knew that I was to help them understand and give them reassurance.
You were empowered to be a catalyst in their life.
This was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful.
So why do people generally go through near-death experiences, Andrew? Is there no cookie cutter answer, or is it for this sort of reason?
So all near-death experiences are planned before the birth.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them can be delayed if you continue doing your good work. Others have no ifs, ands, or buts. It's happening on this date and this time, no matter how good your life is going. And then there are other ones that it is a very slow process of deeper depression, and the life review comes through in your deep depression, and it depends on how you reject it. And if you reject it, you'll have that near-death experience because the ego won't allow you death. And those are some of the harsher ones that can come, and those are to break solid hardened lifetimes of pain so that the unlimited love can melt away some of the traumatized self experiences so that you can flip the frequency on the negative karma and get back to the grander soul journey. Again, that would have been a planned lifetime, though. The soul knows it's incarnating a human with a name and a life and a journey, and that journey is going to be challenging, but it's going to be a marker stone in the soul's grander experience. And many souls who are going to come into the future are going to look back to that one lifetime and the harshness that it went through, but the victories and triumphs also. It's a special teacher spirit in the grander journey of, thousands of years of thousands of lifetimes of living.
Certainly, the near-death experience was the greatest teaching I ever received. On another level, having seen that we plan our life before we come and we choose our lessons, I'm guessing I chose it, planned it, and it happened on time. Right. But of course,
the planning is what I call as part of the journey, where the fetus in the womb creates the infinite perspective. It'll play out dozens and hundreds or thousands of options that only by your free will you change your path. Okay? Let's say you're destined to be a doctor and you have a terrible breakup and you don't finish doctoring school and you end up married with children, but their first child becomes a doctor later. There is a difference where the fetus had a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, a plan E, all of those things woven into potential choice of reality. Okay? And then there are things like drugs and alcohol that completely take people off of their journey. But those two are part of the potential choices that are out there. There are things that are baked in. Who's my third grade teacher that it's going to remind me that education is important and to not poo-poo it? Who's going to be my first love? Who's going to teach me the lessons of human and sexual love? Some of those things, those are necessary we bring in from dozens of other lifetimes because we know them to be a powerful light that will make an impact on our grander memories.
Yes, the other thing that will bring us to modern shamanism, won't it? Even saying "aho."
I say it a lot too.
I know that there's an organization called the Mankind Project, and we were with some people at the weekend at a retreat. And this guy, he belongs to this Mankind Project, which has helped a lot of men. And that I know they have used a talking stick, and I know they use the word "aho" and something else. And apparently, certain people have told them they mustn't because it's sacred, and they're using other, sacred tools that shouldn't be just bandied around. So,
Well, I understand both points of view. Mm-hmm. Every culture has their own sacred concepts. Unfortunately, religion has made many of them taboo to use. And going to something like a simple word like a talking stick, it's just a stick, right? But it's the symbolism it represents. Does any one culture own symbolism? No. If you're doing it for the authentic purpose, then the authentic purpose meets the symbolism, and the symbolism is what creates the authentic truth in the environment where you're trying to get everyone to share thoughts, feelings, concepts without ad hominem attacks.
Yes, so true.
Yeah, it's the intention, isn't it, as ever behind it. So just an aside before we go on to Quinto. So a dark night of the soul or a shaman's death, Andrew, that's when you just lose one aspect of yourself. Whereas a near-death experience, you have to go, do the reset button.
No. Okay. There are many different forms of near-death experiences.
Okay.
Some you are taken into a bubble and you talk to thousands of beings, and they eventually convince you to go back. There are other near-death experiences where you come and meet other versions of yourself in other lifetimes who had it way harder than you, but also say you can stay. But those souls know you're going to go back. Okay? And you're going to go back painfully. There are a lot of people that are sent back kicking and screaming, literally kicking and screaming into their body. And all they want to do when they get back is go back.
Mm.
Okay? The allure of the light is so complete, it compares to no drug, nothing. So sometimes that is used as part of the strategy for people to kick in the good life again. Shaman's death can be a total death of the person. It doesn't have to be one aspect.
Okay.
Okay? It doesn't that. So a shaman's death is, in a sense, the living version of entering the darkness and choosing light. And when you choose light, it must be stronger than the darkness in you.
Mm.
And when it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, and the shaman's death opens you up to all the unique potentials within you, it is another form of unlimited love, but out of your choice, not out of a light broadcasting it to you until it erases enough pain for you to be cognizant of it being eternal love.
Sorry.
I suddenly can't hear Andy anymore.
No, I think that it gets a bit choppy sometimes, Andrew's connection. Quinto, tell us your story.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, she's been lucky enough to have one near-death experience. I've been lucky enough to have thousands of near-life experience because my early life, it was a completely like a fish out of water. I was completely lost. I born in a very poor environment in a family where aggressivity and violence was very present, and a lot of lies. It was a nightmare. Even though I had the chance to live my childhood and experience friendship, joy, and playfulness, I was lost in the sense that I could not understand anything of the world I was living into. And that took me to experience a lot of drugs, of years of completely, I'm going to try everything. I'm alone in this world. I have to try everything in order to experience, because I understand that the meaningfulness of the experience, of physical experience. So I translate all that into, I'm going to try this drug, I'm going to try that drug, I'm going to try. And then I went completely off that because I went into therapy and tried to understand the pattern, how the mind can play tricks on us, how habit and beliefs can allow us to filter reality in a way that we hardly can perceive what's going on outside of ourselves. And now and then we can go in this kind of dimension in which everything looks so unreal. And so I went through 6 years of psychotherapies, and then I met during those psychotherapies years the Incas cosmogonies. And we had a trainer, Americo Java, coming to Ferrara, my little Italian town. And he literally, we did a simple technique, and he was exchanging energy back to back, me and this unknown woman, and giving. He was saying this shaman was saying, giving energy, giving. They divide the world in three different.
The Inca
The
tradition.
Incas, yes, they talk about the Anak Pacha, that is high level, the mind, the Kai Pacha, that is the present, your heart, and the Uku Pacha, that is the past, and also your solar place, your point. And so we were exchanging energy in those three levels of our body. And at the end, it took 5 minutes. I give energy to this girl, and then the shaman say, okay, now you receive, Quinto, and to the girl say, now you give. We were back to back, and basically she gave me energy. And for me, it was all about breath. While I was breathing out, I was imagining to release energy from my head, from my heart, and from my solar plexus. And when then I did have to receive, I thought like, okay, when I breathe in, I imagine to receive this energy. Anyway, that was like 5 minutes of energetic exchange. And then we said, okay, he said, it's finished, you can turn around. And that was the last things of the evening. And I turned around and I hugged this woman. And it was like a big amount of love. I felt love with this woman that I never met. I didn't even know the name. And that for me was the beginning of my, I was 31 years old, the beginning of my path towards shamanism. Because it's like, I don't know this person. Mind, why we put our mind, why we always have to kind of understand who we can give love, who can we trust to give love. Because I didn't know, I didn't need my mind. Love is not to that level. So we don't need to think. We don't need to be in our mind when or if we want to connect to this kind of brain. Because this kind of brain is autonomous and we can find it anywhere in nature. And that for me, I went home that night and I in my little flat, and as soon as I opened the door of my flat and I went in, I saw these windows opening on the nature, and I saw trees, birds, and I felt like, oh, and I start crying. I felt like, oh, that's what love is. I could not get the grip of, could not understand. And from that moment I started to work in nature. We were going meditating, talking with the trees, using kuja stones to do healing, speaking with the rivers, with the Taita Inti. And so we have Andrew.
Andrew's going off.
Is going off. So
bye, Andrew. Thanks for coming.
Bye, Andrew.
Yeah, he's got a session.
It was nice talking to you. I look forward to another moment where I could get to talk to you guys a little bit further.
Okay.
So nice. Sorry you're busy.
Sorry you're busy, but happy that you are busy in the same time.
Thanks, Andrew.
So,
Carry on, Quinto.
That was the beginning of my shamanic world, and I learned a lot to connect. And we were doing a lot of dispatches at the time. There was the war in Yugoslavia. We were doing offer for that war to come down, to go back to peace, because we don't understand. We never understood why there's always need for us to kill each other. So that was a big time. And also from that onwards, I start to connect myself to music. I was always been attracted by music, and I know that everything is vibration, and every vibration has its own frequency. And so for me, the magic of being alive is understand which kind of frequency we want to surround ourselves into. And we always end up, every time I talk with my beautiful wife, about to distinguish those two choices, those two elements that are the basic of our lifetime. We can choose to vibrate in fear, or we can choose to vibrate in love. And of course, there's all in the gray in the middle, but those are the two main responsibilities that I believe as humans we have to understand and search to vibrate into the right vibration for ourselves. Something they feed us with, because we understood and I understand that we are in a duality planet. So we live with those two energies, but we live with day and night. What are those energies? The night and that represent the fear is also contraction. Is the time in which you closing yourself and you accumulate the energy and elaborate how the day went through, and you assimilate the learning of the day. And then there is the light coming up the next day, and then love, that is an element of light that is representing an energy of expansion. So you see, it's a breath of contraction and expansion. So those two energy, they're always with us. We had a lot of messages during COVID of fear, of suppression, and then we coming out on the other side. We wanted more to expand again. So there is a lifetime of research for myself. Now I do believe that frequencies are going to be the medicine of the future. I'm extremely confident that human beings, they're going to stop one day to use drugs, medications of any kind, and any pills, because with frequencies you can have your DVD. Try to imagine you got your DVD with the frequencies of anything, vitamin C, vitamin B, all the things that homeopathically we already take, but sound, with frequencies. You got your DVD with all these medicines,
or just a download nowadays.
Or download.
We're going to go to the next technology.
You got a lack of that in your body, or you feel like you need to resonate with the other thing, or you got whatever illness or a pathology you have. You can stimulate your body really to retune with those frequencies that are missing. Because in the shamanic understanding, there is all illness that are based on some kind of imbalance.
We have realized over the many years and thousands of clients or patients that we've had that it always comes down to one thing. You can distill everything complicated down to something very simple. And whether their problem is mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual, it's always caused by loss of power. So when people lose their power, their innate power, and there are many, many causes of this. And one of the causes that I'm very conscious of as a result of my near-death experience, as a result of understanding we choose our lessons, one of the causes of loss of power is a sense of victimhood, that things are happening randomly and you have no control. And then you feel powerless.
Yeah, you choose also to give away your power. Of course, most of the time unconsciously. It's not a conscious something that happened and you are aware of. Yes, we choose to give. But also there is a kind of lot of training. We're grown in a society that needs soldiers and followers. And that's why they train us to, sit down when they wanted to sit down, study geography on Monday morning at 9 o'clock when we probably want to do something else in that moment. When that's why they impose on us, rules and times.
Yes, absolutely.
And slowly we get used to be controlled and manipulated by outside energies. And we believe that if we got illness, we need a doctor. And we need to always the answer outside of ourselves. And that's a form of giving away our power.
So
totally. Yes.
When we are born, it's just my belief because of my teaching from my near-death experience. When we are born, we don't remember that we chose everything. We don't remember that we are fully in command of everything that's going to unfold in our lives. So we assume that it's just randomly happening to us. And one of the things that I describe in my book is about how we start to feel fear? Why does fear start in us and overtake love? And I really see it as simply this. When we're ready to be born, we take an etheric look at who we chose to be our mother, who we chose to be our father. So we take an etheric look at this person who is supposed to be our father, and we sense that he's very anxious. Maybe he feels financially worried. Oh, maybe I can't afford another child, another mouth to feed, or maybe he's distressed in some other way. Whatever his problems are, because we desperately need him to support us, because now we're in the womb feeling utterly helpless, and we know we must succeed on our mission. And so we take a great lump of his issues and stick them on our right shoulder. We carry them in order to survive, which is nuts. Then we take an etheric look at the mother we chose. Oh, she's got a lot of issues. Oh my goodness, is she going to be able to actually nurture me, carry me, not drop me, feed me, give me milk when I need it? Because if I don't get my milk, I'm going to die. And so we take a whole load of her issues and put them on our left shoulder in the hope that they will survive in order to keep us alive. In that moment, we pick up fear. And the ultimate fear, which I love this because this is my cosmic joke in my book. If you take apart anybody's behavior that is not loving, you will take it back to its core. And the core in that person is, I might not get my milk and I'm going to die.
That's fair. Yeah.
So fear of not having your mother's milk is what drives all fear, ultimately. And so, when we're trying to stop war, when we're trying to make politicians make decent decisions, not greedy, selfish decisions, instead of trying, as I've heard many times, we need to stop them, we need to make them think differently, just send them the love and reassurance energy that will take away the fear that drives that behavior in them. Because they're only scared they're not going to get their milk.
Yes, cartloads of it. Okay, so just touching on something, you were talking about power. And I think from what I've learned from Andrew and what a lot of his audience will understand, as that would be something we call sovereignty. So one thing that Andrew teaches, it is another word for it, is that we have, as you've said, we have it all inside of us. Many teachers tell us that. Andrew has certain terms, and I love this sovereignty thing because he's talking about us connecting to our heart, claiming our sovereignty. And it doesn't mean to say you go and rip up your birth certificate, anything like that. You can do it all in the unseen world through, prayers and revocations, living close to the earth and so on, living a much more, if you like, let's say a shamanic style life on a route to self-empowerment and self-mastery. And we always teach in what we do that one of the cornerstones of self-mastery is claiming your sovereignty. And one of the ways we do that is we say no to that part of the unseen world that is trying to predict what we do, govern us, and all those other things that have created this slave system that so many of us are in. And so many of us don't realize, they're able to get out of that just by claiming the sovereignty. You don't have to go on a march. You don't have to do any of that. Mm-hmm. You actually, with your out loud, what Andrew calls it, out loud, name it to claim it. With your out loud voice, yeah, brilliant, isn't it? You actually state that you are a sovereign being, that you're here to make your own free will choices that don't tread on another's journey. Because all this is done in honor, in respect,
of course,
using the full, rites of passage that are there for us. Yeah. But as you were saying, Quinto, I mean, so much of that has been shut off to us.
Yeah.
People don't even know half of this because we're not taught that. And over the years, all the storytelling, everything that's naturally handed down by the indigenous is gradually eroded away until we have to turn up, as you said, 9 o'clock geography class, which doesn't mean anything, does it? In the really, in the world that we want.
And also, as I was saying earlier to you, when we were speaking last time, we spoke together about the slavery, the money that the money created in our human beings nowadays, in our West Country human beings, which we are completely on the service of a lifestyle that doesn't belong to our greater self.
Yeah.
Because, as you say, we can honor who we are, and also that word honor, my God, is used for other purposes nowadays. It's not you speak about being honorable if you kill people and you got medals on your chest.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to feel honorable if I understand that, and I can take this day, this moment right now as my last chance to be happy, to be joyful, and I put all myself and claim my life with one thing that is one of the most important things that we have: time. Using the time doing the things that we love. All those two things, time and love. And as you said, attention, where we put our attention, which intention we use on our day-to-day basic, that can change and transform completely how the way we perceive and live our life today in those planets. So we always invite everybody to be aware of where they put their attention.
Yes.
Because is that how you claim that sovereignty you're talking about. You claim it when you are honoring who you are, when you are fulfilling your playfulness, your joyfulness, when you give yourself time to connect to who you really are. And if you are working 8 hours in an office doing something that doesn't feed your soul or doesn't make you happy, you're selling yourself. And now there's a lot of us slaved of that, selling themselves for that coins, the amount of money that kind of allow you to pay for your needs in life.
But the problem with people who are on that mouse wheel going round and round is that there's got to be an equal and opposite reaction. So giving yourself away means that when you're not giving yourself away, you're desperate to reclaim stuff for yourself. So you'll either hit the bottle or, binge on TV shows or do things that are not healthy, sugar binging, because you feel there's something I've given and I haven't got enough back. So for me, it does boil down to, are you driven by fear? And if you are, have a look at it. Is it the fear that you won't get your milk?
Yes. There's definitely this. Well, I love it because you two come across as joyous. And that's one thing that is missing so much is this lack of joy. And this thing about what you were saying about the word honor, so many words have been weaponized and perverted to start with. So, and gradually, with all that background going on, our joy, our natural joy from the connection to nature, from the connection to earth, and as you were saying, all the hours spent in the office and so on, just erodes that joy. So I feel part of getting onto what modern shaman will do in the modern shaman in a modern world is in some ways to help people recapture that joy. Okay, on a path to sovereignty, on a path to self-empowerment. But a big part of that has got to be that joy, because with the joy, you can outcreate the fear. You don't have to battle fear, do you, Leticia? You can like you don't battle governments, you outcreate with new energies the whole time, like you two are doing. And I guess, what sort of things do you two use, like ceremonies and so on in
Well,
your creation?
the first things for me that for us we recommend to everybody, and since we're alive and people is gonna want to have some suggestion of, okay, we understand from the concept, we start from the concept that we are disconnected as human beings. We live in boxes. Okay, we are in a small 4 walls and a roof and a floor box, and then from that box we go in a car that is another box, and we go to work and there is another box, office, whatever you, and we lived completely disconnected from nature. So the first things that we suggest to people is just really important. It's crucial to give yourself time to reconnect to reality. Get out of your box, of your boxes, and get into nature, because that the real world is there.
Yes.
And as soon as you are, what happened, as soon as you go in a woodland and the tree releasing their oxygen and you release this carbon dioxide that they absorb, and there's this kind of cycle of energy
and love
that happen. And it's for me also the concept, what is love? Love is an exchange of energy that happen with no effort. And when you are in nature, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Naturally, because they tree need carbon dioxide and we need oxygen. And the exchange make, that's why as soon as we are in a woodland, we do like, and we that's where we belong. For millennia, we lived in nature, and now we don't. So the first thing is, okay, you don't have time. You work 8 hours, and then during a night, where are you going to go at night? That's why we live in a world of disconnection. That's why it's important to cut off as much as we can the time that we dedicate to money gaining, and start to honor who we are and step into, that give us a chance that time to have time to really dedicate ourselves. But yes, we do also training. We do session, one-to-one session, a lot of them. We do despacho. Well, but we talk with nature, because once you are in nature, there's one thing that is very simple, that you can talk with anything. With a rock, you can communicate with a tree, you can communicate with a bird, you can communicate with the cloud in the sky, and certain time of the day you can communicate with the sun, especially sunset and sunrise, and you could communicate all the time with Mother Earth, where all our food comes from. Talking about connection and disconnection, but I'm not going to go.
You always say,
yeah,
you can give a child in a mid city a carrot and say, where does the carrot come from? And they say a supermarket.
Yes.
They don't know anything about.
We
how
don't
a carrot
grow the
grows.
food we eat.
No.
We don't see and know the animal we eat. So we're disconnected there's a complete disconnection everywhere. You look at it.
So when people are disconnected, they're sad. And
Yes.
They're frightened as well.
And they lost.
Because
it's not connection.
Yeah. We've had, run many retreats, conferences. We've got a retreat coming up in May in Spain. We'll talk about that later. We've gone to events where people are not particularly spiritual or shamanic, and we've come to our time to say, you've got an hour with these people, what will you do? And we take them outside and then we get them to understand that the trees in the Inca tradition are the doctors, and how to communicate with that tree, how to actually communicate.
Yes.
And we did this one time, and we had a group of people who had never done anything like that. And within an hour, we had them all embracing the tree, honoring the tree, receiving healing from the tree. And afterwards, they said, oh, we thought people you called tree huggers, were weirdos, but actually that was really amazing what I felt there. So you see someone talking to a tree and hugging a tree, you might think they're weird, but actually they're less weird than the ones who don't.
Yes. Would you say that form of connection you're talking about, when you're co-creating with the Earth's natural energies, which is what people forget they can do, because, as you say, we become so disconnected, and is part of that connection for you in prayer? So part of that communication with the natural world, would you say, is a form of prayer, that communication?
Is actually my teacher was always saying, Quinto, if you want to connect with a tree or with a rock or whatever, with a cloud, the first thing you have to say is hi.
Yes. Yes.
How are you?
Yes.
Because it was always there, that tree,
Yes.
and it will be when you die, probably, if it depends.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but when it comes in your radar, if you want to start a communication in your radar, you
Yes.
say hi, and that hi in himself open a gate
Yes.
with that entity that in this case the tree, they say, oh, somebody want to connect to me.
Yes.
And we normally pass by, but we don't. And as you walk in a city, you can pass by 1,000 people, and then you met somebody that and you say, hey, hi. In that moment, that person become alive for you. And that tree is the same. In that moment, become alive. In the moment that rock, the moment you say hi, that become alive for you, and it come inside your sphere of attention, and that where the communication can. And with the communication connection, it's very simple. Truth
Yes.
is always simple, and I love that about our being shamanic. What does it mean to be shamanic?
Yes.
Means being able to understand that you can co-create, as you I would like to use the same word you use, your day-to-day life, and you can do it in a simple way. Just go in nature and start to communicate, but also understanding that there's no like, again, I'm sorry to say, but it's not like the life that teaches, in which there's always competition.
Oh, no hierarchy.
There's no up and down. There's no like that. No,
Yeah.
we're all equal.
Yeah.
This competition is like, it's not real.
Yeah.
No, Leticia says always when she did astrology, she says, I did thousands of horoscopes, and I never saw a person that was less than 100%, or a person that was more than 100%.
Yeah.
We are, okay?
Yeah.
And there's no, it can be fat, tall, or small, it can be whatever, white, yellow, whatever. It's me, is who I am, and I'm 100% me. And I can embrace that humble with humility, and I'm equal to everybody else. And it's not because
I think there's a joy in that, because people are so afraid that they're not enough, or that they've got to compare or compete or keep up with, or somehow be enough to be good enough, not in their sovereignty. And one of the ways in which we teach sovereignty, because what we love to do is not say, you need to come to us because we have all the knowledge. We say, here's some tools.
Yes.
We want to see you get your power back. We're not holding your power.
Exactly. You don't want to hold people's power. Absolutely.
No. One of the ways in which we teach it is to teach inner child work, which, funnily enough, I use the word sovereign, because we talk about who you are in your bubble. So even though we're so together, I'm still in my bubble, he's in his bubble, you're in yours, and everyone who's listening is in their own bubble. And you are the sovereign of your bubble. But also, you're not alone in your bubble, because there are the peasants. If you're the sovereign, the king, the queen of your bubble, you've got the little peasants who are quite afraid and powerless, and always looking at the king or the queen and saying, oh, we're scared something bad could happen. And then, this is the point of the teaching, at that point you have a choice. You either stop what you're doing, pay attention to the scared little ones, and say, okay, I'm on it, I'll take care of it, you're safe. Or we walk in the other direction and say, I'm too busy to be bothered with all this. I'm going to get on with my life. And they just get louder and louder and take over the kingdom. These are your wounded child pieces.
Okay. Yeah.
If you do not stop and reassure them as the sovereign, they take the kingdom. And how many people have you met who you think that they're behaving very childishly, or very many politicians,
Yes.
afraid,
Yes.
being, arguing, being scared, stamping their feet. Oh, yeah, I want, and it's a child. It's not an adult. It's not a wise person in that who's speaking. So when the sovereign is not in command of their bubble, then the child can take over and run the bubble.
Yeah.
And that's just a little piece of the teachings that we do to help people regain their power, regain their equilibrium, come from love instead of fear. And I have often visions, pictures, and the picture I have so clearly is of a vehicle. Well, we can say it's a car, or we can say it's a cart with wooden wheels. But either way, it will only roll along nicely if all four wheels are on the ground equally. But what if a wheel is missing? The whole thing is going to crash. The whole thing is going to be a mess. So if we take care of all four of our aspects, then we roll along nicely. But most people only take care of three: physical, mental, emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And they completely leave out the spiritual. And they wonder why their cart is crashing. They wonder why their life is weird and not happening right. And it's the spiritual dimension, not religion, not indoctrination, just the true connection to spirit that is right for you. That is putting that vehicle on a smooth run. And people feel better when they can have spiritual practices in the modern world that give them that aspect that's missing.
And I love the way you've made it so simple with that connection to nature. I mean, it is so obvious, but the way Quinto is describing it so joyfully, it's like, yeah, it really, really is that simple. Going out there and opening your heart up and accepting and exchanging that energy with that world, with the with Earth Mother and all. And what about the unseen world, though? I know it is. Well, it's seen and unseen, isn't it? Because the tree is seen, but it also has a spirit you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you also like or would teach people to connect to what we might call the unseen world?
Well,
or spirit?
We have a practice of a daily meditation that we do. We call on the four directions, and we ask our own guides of those four directions, who have always been with us and will always work with us, to walk with us that day and guide those four aspects of our cart and keep it from wobbling. And so we have a specific meditation that we do every day, which can be done in seconds, or you can spend a good half hour on it if you like. And if you don't miss a day, you feel completely different from if you miss a day. Another thing that I think is so powerful about the shamanic path, and is really relevant to modern times, is to allow yourself to accept that everything has a spirit. And the more you honor and recognize that perhaps that plant has its own spirit and is benevolent, and that rock, inanimate object, but actually brilliant wisdom that's been observing and absorbing knowledge for millennia, can actually teach you something if you ask it. And so I remember when I first trained shamanically a long, long time ago, and I wanted to know what was the right herb I had a sinus infection. And I thought, well, I can ask the spirits of the plants to tell me. And they did. And I had to write down these names of plants I didn't even know. And the plants were talking to me. So I just allowed that to come in. So I think how we connect with spirit There's many different sides, but one of the ways is trust. Trust that they really are. That really is a message. It's not your imagination. You really are connecting. And also honor. You have these phenomenal guides around you all day, every day. And to honor them by just doing the thing that Quinto said, talking. Hi, thank you for being there. Would you please walk with me today and guide for us, the East is the mind, and guide my thoughts. For us, the South is the body. Keep me strong. For us, our tradition, the West is the emotions. Keep my emotions steady. Please help me with that. And then for the North is the spirit, and help me to stay on my spiritual path, aware of not losing it and forgetting it, but being in it. So
yeah, for me, for example, it's very hard to connect to spirits that, in a way that invisible, kind of. When I do meditation, when I go into a different state of mind during the meditation, I can travel, I can do journey, and then I can travel in this lower world and upper world and meet entities. So that is a structured thing that I like to do, and we do often. And then we receive teachings and messaging when we are in that kind of alternate state of mind. But as I was saying to talk to the tree, I can understand a normal person. So why should I talk with a tree? Because I mean, why? And in the ancient Incas cosmogony traditions, the trees, as Leticia was saying, they are the doctors. And we teach meditation, but they're very easy. Anybody can do it. You have to hug a tree. But why you have to hug a tree? Because the doctor has to scan you. And if you have the third eye, your heart and your solar plex attached to the tree, and allow it, in that moment you say, hi, you present yourself, hi, I'm here to receive healing from you. Please help me with whatever situation you're dealing with, you need help. And then humble with your humility, you go and hug the tree and allow him to scan with these 3 points of your body connected to the tree. And then you wait. And then there's the trust come in when you feel like, oh, you can communicate emotionally, you can keep talking to the doctor about your problem while you're hanging it. And then when you finish and when you feel that he's finished, then the healing time is coming. And the healing time is very easy to happen. And the only things you have to do, you have to sit with your back on the tree. So be sure your head, all your spine cord, they're all aligned with the tree. And you sit, and that is the moment in which the tree is giving you back the healing. And that is a meditation that anybody can do easily, and go to the doctor, go and visit the doctor. It's a fantastic technique, and it's the beginning. And for me, it was the beginning when I did it 30 years ago of the opening of the connection with the real world.
The real world.
Beautiful.
The real world.
In that one, and then you can do it with stones. Rivers have got fantastic rocks. They're all smooth. On the sea, you can find rocks. They got millennia of history. They've got so memories. And normally the rocks, they call you. I find out, and I'm not me looking for them. They're there. They're looking for me. And if you are in a kind of mindset of, hey, I'm open to receive the teaching for today, and you go for a walk, you can see the rock say, me, I'm here for you. I'm here for help. And then you're like, wow. And you look at it, whoa. And then you start to appreciate it. And then normally I clear it again and I wash it. I ask, say again, hi, how are you doing? Would you like to come with me home would you like to help me with this?
And occasionally they say no.
And occasionally they say no, and you put it down. It's okay. It's okay. You see, it's like, you know, it's you coming from a 2D world, and actually you open to a 3, 4D world with a lot more opportunities and possibilities to learn. Because we're all here. Leticia said all the time, this planet is the university of the soul. We are all of us. We're here to learn, and we will learn till the day we die.
How do you, sorry, just quickly, how do you use the stones you're talking about? You use them in healing or in practices? I think you were saying
healing the stones, they got a very powerful capacity to absorb what the Incas called hucha, that is the heavy energy, that is something that is holding you down.
Mm-hmm.
And is something your body can't digest. And the rocks, they're powerful. They're connected to Mother Earth. As you know, Mother Earth transforms poo in flowers. So all our bad energy is food for the Mother Earth. So the rocks are Mother Earth priests. So they come, and we use the rocks to just, there's a procedure that we use, and we teach also, to do the healing, to clear, to use like a soap or a sponge, which you take the rock and you pass it into your body, and then you clear all this ucha, all this undigested.
Pass it over your body.
And you put it down, give it down, always from the top to the bottom of your feet, going to Mother Earth, giving to Mother Earth, and then wait while the stones clear all the heavy energy. Then it can take like 3 seconds. Your intention always work with it. You say, okay, Pachamama, Atumama, clear this energy for me, Mother Earth, clear all this heavy energy, and then from the rocks, and then you can just feel the sucking of the energy goes, the stone come back cleaner. You do another passage through your body and clean. And we do this to each other when we have students, they share this technique. And so there's a lot of, and also you can meditate. There's some rocks I use to sleep, put under my pillow because I need, help in my dream. Or there's some of them that I like to put them on my third eyes because I like to communicate with them. There's a lot of way you can. It's trusting your feelings, your guts.
You can also take a rock and use it for divination. So if you have a question you can't answer, you can ask the rock in 4 different directions, or you can ask the rock for past, present, future. So you can gaze, and as you gaze, you start to see images, and those images give you clues to the answer. So learning to interpret such clues, learning to trust your intuition or your connection to the other realms is about connecting to the other realms. And in astrology, a fascinating thing, because I can see from a person's chart an exact description of their characteristics and also their life plan, the plan they made before they incarnated. It's all there on the astrology map. And when I'm looking at that, I can see what's going on for that person. Are they able to channel or are they not? Are they someone who finds it easy to connect with spirit or difficult? And so we are all different. And it's not something to say, oh, well, you can't do it the way I can do it, therefore you're no good at it. No, it's more like, oh, I honor you because you're that way. And I honor me because I'm this way. And I think one of the greatest teachings of having done so many charts over the years is to see how everybody's perfect as they are. And I think one of the greatest joys is to show someone, here's your chart, and remind them they can love themselves as they are, which then eradicates the fear.
Yeah. I'm talking about this. I would like to, I don't know how many followers we have, but we will have probably people looking to, whoever is listening at this video. I would like to tell you something very important. There never was, and there never will be one human being exactly like you. Your uniqueness, your unicity is what make you valuable for my Earth, for all of us. You are a unique human being, and you're perfectly imperfect as all of us. And you always will be the same. So honor who you are, love who you are. You're really important for each one of us.
Yes.
And everybody that's tell you the opposite of what I'm telling you is lying to you. Because that's the truth. There's never. So you got a big responsibility, big, to honor and love and care about that person you are today.
Yeah.
Enjoy that and go deep to understand who you really are. Ask yourself, what do you love to do?
And then do it.
And then spend time using that magical opportunity you have every single day to choose how you're spending your day. As much as you can to honor and love who you are and that uniqueness. Please, you got a task, you got a job, get on with it.
And know that even though you may criticize yourself, in actual fact, you are perfect exactly as you are.
Yeah.
Because this is the you that you chose to be. This is the journey you chose to take, and you're on it. And it's fantastic because you are doing it, the very thing that you chose to do. You chose to come, you chose to go through. And when you go through difficult times, just instead of feeling something's happened to me, stand up and say, bring it on. I came to learn. Here's a lesson. What am I learning from this? What's the great teaching here? And then move through it. And then realize you've gained resources for the next lesson. You've gained huge compassion. And in fact, I believe that the purpose of our journey, the reason we come to Earth again, go through our difficulties and our struggles, the reason we come is to grow our light to become unconditional. Now that is a massive ask. Imagine being totally 100% unconditionally loving to everyone and everything. That means no judgment of any kind. And the way that we become unconditional is through trauma, is through our difficulties. So if you've been through a really difficult breakup in a relationship, then you meet someone going through a breakup. You don't say, oh, that must be terrible. You say, I know. I've been there. I know this in my cells. I know this in my bones. I've experienced this. And I don't judge you. I feel for you. I have compassion for you because I've lived it. And that is the purpose of our lessons.
That's beautiful. If anybody in the chat has got any questions, or I know sometimes you can put them on YouTube and then Joel can actually get them to us here. But I mean, everything you said is it's absolutely beautiful. It's the way Andrew teaches as well. It's what I've learned is working and living from that heart-spaced awareness, out creating some of the, or let's call it the, what the system has put on us, and out creating and saying no to the contracts that have been put on us that aren't for our highest good, and then working with that heart space to, let's face it, heal ourselves, try and rid ourselves as much as possible of the trauma we've collected on the way, and help others to do the same. But as you say, Leticia, recognizing everybody is where they're at and holding that unconditional love, even if you need to hold boundaries at the same time. And I think the biggest thing I love from everything you said is how simple that natural connection is. Absolutely, how simple. It doesn't need to always be some grand putting on the regalia and any of that. It's as simple as just stepping outside. There's nothing wrong with doing that and doing ceremony honorably and setting up sacred spaces and all the rest of it. But sometimes, especially if you're in a desperate place, that is a very simple thing to do, to go and rekindle that joy, which is what we all agree is something that gets knocked out of us so early on these days. People have lost their joy.
Yes.
So tell us about what courses you do. And you said something about you've got something coming up in Spain, a retreat.
Yes, we have two things. The one coming soonest is with you, actually. We're going to be doing something in Sussex, and
Yes.
it'll be just a one day, but it'll be a full-on day, and that's going to be in September. So watch this space. We'll come up with where and how.
Yeah.
And it'll be a wonderful mixture of a cross-pollination of our knowledge.
Yes.
And skills that we're going to teach you. So come to that. And then Quinto and I will be running a retreat in Spain in a beautiful paradise called Harmony Farm near Granada, not far from Granada. And it is all going to be outdoors with beautiful orange trees and olive trees and the bees and the nightingales in the trees. It's absolutely stunning.
We have a piece of land and a retreat center in south of Spain, and it's paradise on earth. It's completely off the grid, so it's very basic. There is no, main electricity, main water. We're completely off grid.
Truly the shamanic experience.
And then it's truly full immersion in how we were living 100 years ago, connecting nature.
Real connections to
nature. But it's very, very, it's going to be very powerful as usual. We have a fantastic feedback.
We will do a lot of teaching, and we'll also do healing.
We can.
So we hope you'll join us, and it'll be a 1 week long retreat. We will teach you techniques. We will do ceremony together. We will do healings, and we will have huge connections. And everyone who's been on our retreat has come away with it saying that they'll never forget it for the rest of their life. And it has changed the way they walk.
It's life changing because it's very easy to step into the world of because the shamanic, the new shamans, is just a different approach to life. Really, I mean, there is an old way to practice to approach your day-to-day life with nature, reconnect with it, and once you do it, we do it for this full week. It becomes innate in you. It becomes natural for you. Just once you discover this dimension and this way to communicate with everything there is, it's impossible to go back. Information on the website.
Yeah, I'm just doing that.
So tell people, Joel will put it up for us on the screen in a minute. So tell people how can they get hold of you?
Right, we're just putting it up now on the screen. Okay. So you can email us, you can have a look at our website. There's all the contact details there, including phone number. We will then give you the answers to your questions if you'd like to book in for a healing with us. We do them in person in Sussex or on Zoom. And in fact, when lockdown came, we were a bit concerned because there are various healings we do. One of them is a DNA ancestral cleanse that we can always do at a distance. What we didn't know we could do is a physical healing of the body if you have a physical ailment. We usually like to be with the person, drumming them and doing the full shamanic healing. We found we could do that at a distance on Zoom. So now we do offer that also on Zoom, and a full astrology chart if you'd like to know you or your child's chart to know the best way to move forward.
We
Yeah.
do have a question before we carry on from Sean. I think it's Sean, isn't it? When does pride become vanity in our spiritual practice?
I got a great answer.
Go on.
I've always got an answer. It's terrible. It's part of being an elder.
Yes.
Okay, so in your spiritual practice, and you'll see this in my book, things tend to be the opposite of what you think they are. So ego is not you being bold and out there and speaking your truth. Ego is you being shy and saying, oh, I don't know, what if they don't like the way I'm saying this? Or, that's your ego standing in front of you. Your ego moves aside, you allow the truth to come through you, allow the messages to come through you. So that's not vanity, that's allowing and being. Vanity, I equate with shyness or self-consciousness. You know, what do they think of me? You know, do they think I'm great? That is your ego, and it's just gets in the way. And ego can manifest in the form of fear, can manifest in the form of anxiety, can manifest in the form of boastfulness, can manifest in the form of showing off. You know, so it's whether you're coming from your authentic self or whether your ego has stepped in front and is sabotaging you, in fact. So vanity is your ego.
For me, the simple answer is we got two brains. One is here, and one is down here. If you think that you are practicing and whatever you do, you is coming from this brain, I think you have to reconsider yourself, because of course we always look for something we need to gain out of what we're doing. And I understand your question. It can be quite tricky sometimes, because you think like, oh, what am I gaining here? Okay. But there's also something else that, you know, the unconditional love that Leticia met, that light of unconditional love, there was no judgment.
No.
And if you step into judgment, you are abandoning this mind and you come into this mind. So you have to be aware, be attentive, and in the moment in which you step to judge also yourself, you know, and criticize yourself, then you have to ask yourself, why am I judging myself?
And whose voice is it?
Yeah, who's
It's not the sovereign. It's not the sovereign.
When you teach your
when I teach the inner child work, I don't just say there's a little child in your kingdom. There's also these finger wagging. Oh, you shouldn't, or you didn't, and that is also part of your kingdom to put in their place, and so that you can be your sovereign. Critical parents.
But for the king or the queen,
they're the saboteurs. They sabotage you.
Yeah, but no, but they're there. They pay to serve the queen.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the king or queen of your kingdom, and you've got the peasants who are scared and need reassurance and need attention.
So you've
fears. Also got these little voices in your head, like, you're useless at that. Oh, why did you do that? Oh, you made a mistake there, didn't you? You're never going to get it right. Me, the little voices. As the sovereign, king or queen, you have only one thing to do. Silence. Not
yes. Yeah. We would call them programs. We call them programs a lot of the time that completely take over our lives and so on. And some people run entirely on programs. And one of the things we do with Andrew at our combined healing is help people overcome their programs, which we all have.
Yeah.
Right. We have another. Well, we have actually. Oh, do you want to show that a moment?
Yeah, I want to show that person. You see, there's those three parts of you. One is you in love in your heart,
and that's the sovereign.
Space. And your pure love, that's what it is. But in your kingdom, there's also your fear part of yourself, your child part of yourself, the peasant of your kingdom, and there's also the critics They are only shame and blame. And
Yes.
normally, when the fear come in yourself, and you got those ones coming alive, what they do, they trigger the answer from those. So there's a lot of human beings living on a dialogue, constant dialogue between a child's part of wounded part of themselves, completely in fear of what's going to happen next to them, and that trigger the critic. They say, "Of course you're alone. You are too horrible, or too insensitive, or too
or
blah,
too
blah,
proud,
and too proud, or too." And so, and where dialogues keep going,
Yes.
between fears,
and then the kingdom is lost.
and the kingdom is lost.
And then
Yeah, the programs talk to each other, and the I am presence, the sovereign I am being, doesn't stand a chance. Well, it's not sovereign. That's the whole thing.
Exactly.
It's lost its crown. It's lost its sovereignty.
And be aware, the vanity comes when you are in that space of not love.
Yes.
Yeah.
So be aware of it.
Yes, absolutely. When you come out of heart-based awareness. So Julia has a comment which I'd like you to hear. So she said, "My hands used to often get sucked down from the trunk to the roots of trees. One time a deep scream and cry came out from me. I'm not sure if it was the tree or if it was an energy from within me."
Oh, of course, it was an energy within you.
Ah.
There's our beliefs, they're the mesh of who we are, that separate our sensation and our reality from the world. So whatever we experience is within us, dreams or whatever happened. So, okay, I'm rereading to understand where you were
A
at.
deep scream and cry came out from her.
Yeah. So there's a need. That scream and that cry that come out from you is your need to connect with it. That's why your hands, they get sucked down. They need to immerse into the earth, to be rebirthed, to reborn to a different you. That's what the screaming and the cry was for you. And is coming 100% from you, not from the tree.
And also stay in awareness, Julia, that if you felt any fear about this, I don't know, you haven't said whether you did, but if you did feel fear, then that's not the sovereign. That's a little child part of you that, oh, what's happening? Oh, but talk with that little girl. Say to her, it's okay. We're talking with the tree here.
And remember, Julia, to find yourself, you have to lose yourself. Because you can't find yourself if you're not lost. It's simple, huh?
I like that. I hope that's answered your question, Julia.
I hope it has.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Well, we're coming to about an hour and a half now, guys. So it's been absolutely amazing. I think you need to come on again because there's so many other topics we can look at. We haven't covered even ancestors and dream time and many, many things.
Definitely.
We love it. We love it.
Have Andrew on again with you because I know he'd like to chat more to you. So we do so appreciate you coming on. We've put it's on the screen, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Quinto.com is Leticia and Quinto's website.
Yeah. Let go into.
Leticia, Quinto, let go into.
Okay, there we go. So we really, really appreciate you having you coming on the show. It's been
thank you for having us, Laura.
Brilliant. So if you'd like to get hold of me, if you'd like an online session, you can contact me at Laura2feathers with the number 2 at gmail.com. If you'd like me to take you to your ancestral fire or help you with some shamanic tools on your journey to self-mastery. I also still have some vacancy, some space in the 2 days of combined with the ladies' vaginal healing haifu in June, 6th and 7th. There we are. Thank you, Joel. So Dale and I will be there on the 6th and 7th of June to do this. You can even if you don't want to come as a 2-day retreat, you can come for a day and experience our combined healing, the Lucia light, the no drug mystical experience, this hypnagogic light, the PEMF mats, healing with natural earth energies, the psychic surgery, both Dale and I do, cranial sacral therapy, you name it. We've got loads going on there. So if you'd like to come and join us, please drop me a line at that email. We will be back tomorrow night with the Paranormal Rangers at 7 o'clock UK time. And Andrew will be back as usual with his Adventures into Reality on Thursday and probably his game stream on Friday. So we have lots going on at Galactic Historian channel. And thank you, Joel, our producer. And thanks everybody who came in the chat. And we'll see you again soon. And hopefully Dale will be back with us next week. So thank you, Quinto.
Okay.
Thanks, Leticia.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Good evening. Many blessings to everybody listening, and I hope we're gonna have a chance next time to talk and cover also about the other techniques that we do.
Oh yes,
that we didn't do tonight about the pyramidal memories transmutation, but people can go on our website and see if they resonate with us. Please get in touch with us. We're here to help.
Lovely. Thank you,
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Joel.